Hi, everybody. This is Carolina Millan. Welcome to a new episode of Beyond the Hustle. And today I am here with author and speaker, Mr. Daniel Mangena. How are you, Dan?
I am super groovy. How you doing?
I'm doing great myself. Thank you for taking the time to be with us today. I was reading a little bit about your story, and I think you're going to inspire a lot of people. What is the I don't know if it's a secret, but how do you create wealth or success and get it to stay? What makes the difference? Because you hear this kind of story a lot, where people they make a lot of money and then they lose it all, or they win the lottery and then they spend it all, or so what's the secret to let it stay?
I think the secret is just looking at that there isn't really a difference in what we create between different things. And what I mean by that is this. People think that there's a difference between how I create a relationship, how I create health, how I create wealth, or how I create a connection to my purpose. The universe just is. The universe doesn't have an opinion. Oh, this is health. I guess we better change the rules here. The rules don't change, but we don't live up to the rules. And what ends up happening is we generally accidentally step into success in one thing and don't allow it to be carried over to other things. Ultimately, all of us are the same core substance. I know that people are, oh, we're all humanity, we're all one, we're one with nature. But no, this is a real thing. If we take everything apart to its simplest construct, we're all electrons that are built into different combinations of atoms with neurons spinning around them that make different compounds that then have different things, and then light hits those things. We see the light bouncing off, our eyes interprets it, gives us a vision, and we say that we're having a reality. That's all it is. So what happens is that if we just look at this simple construct of how everything else stays the same, I didn't change color or turn into a lady over the course of this call. I stayed the same, right? The sky didn't turn green, it stayed blue, it stayed the same. That means that there's a guiding principle underlying all of this stuff, which is the same energy that works the same. All I have to do is to step into alignment with that. That's it. That's all it is. So not overcomplicating it, just going to the simple truth that everything just is and reflects its true nature on a consistent basis. So if I want to be healthy, I need to change my underlying narrative to one of a being of health, and that will stay. I don't have to force feed it. I don't need to keep telling myself to be healthy. It will be healthy. If I want to be a nice human, I need to make it a part of my program to be a nice human. That will keep playing out. If I want to be wealthy and successful, I need to change the substance of me so that my core code is wealth and success, and that will keep playing out consistently.
How do we find that alignment? Because, it's sometimes people live their entire life in, what is the opposite of alignment? Disalignment?
Yeah, something like that.
I wasn't sure.
It's one of those. One of those.
You got it. So how do you align, and what should you be aligning to?
Everything's a choice. I think this is the thing that people don't like to hear, because everything's a choice, and I can't blame people. So the choice is always happening, but the choice is happening consciously and unconsciously consistently. So what I need to do is make it a conscious choice to be aligned until such time as that conscious choice imprints on my unconscious thought patterns and it becomes a consistently unconscious thing. None of my thought patterns that I have now came from nowhere. I didn't wake up this morning as a combination of myself. It happened over time. Inputs and experiences overlapped and imprinted on each other to become the version of myself that I am today. All I need to do is consciously direct my power to do that on a consistent basis to wealth and success. If I'm consistently imprinting on myself an environment, inputs, thought patterns, and an emotional state of wealth and success, that will become what happens underneath. So even when I'm not consciously choosing, which only happens up to about 10% of the time, then the unconscious thought patterns, the unconscious emotional states will follow from the pattern, the momentum that I began consciously. And that's will be what it is. So what it really comes down to is polluting my environment so that every input going into my brain is telling it, this is the way that we do things now. Following through with everything I'm consciously feeling, everything I'm consciously thinking, and everything I'm consciously doing until such time as it overwrites whatever was there before. And this becomes my new normal.
So what do you recommend people do? Like, is there a particular set of steps that people can follow? Like, how do I know if I'm going in the right direction? What is the framework that you teach people?
So I've got my Beyond Intention paradigm, which was the fruit of my death-defying labor over the past couple of years, because it was understanding that the 4 steps of that are accepting that I'm the author and creator of my life, so stepping into my power, clearing, so setting the landscape for me to make a new choice by coming back to the present moment, connecting to the outcome that I want through gratitude, and then staying aware of where I am with my thoughts and my feelings so that I can course correct. One of the things I think that people forget is that we're human.
Yeah.
All right. And I love to remind people that they're human. We're not going to be on the ball all of the time. You're not going to be happy every day. You're not going to be high vibe every day. But then the opposite's true. You're not going to be under the weather every day. You're not going to be feeling crap every day. You're not going to be feeling sad or beating up on yourself. You're going to bounce between the two. That's it. Anyone who tells you you're going to be one way all the time and always going to be zen and happy, I mean, for the people out there that have ever read the Bible stories, like Jesus lost his crap and started turning things over in a
That's
temple,
true.
right? like, come on, like Jesus kind of lost his crap. You're a human, you're going to lose it. So what it comes down to is remembering, as much as I want to blame other people, ultimately, I'm the only thing that's present in every experience. So the logical place to start with change is with me. So that's number 1. Number 2, I can only effect real change in a real place. And the real place is the present moment. And whatever I need to do to get to the present moment, and I've got some free resources on my website. If people want some tips, there's one called the A Clearing Encyclopedia. You can go to my website, dreamwithdan.com. It's a completely free download. And it gives you like an encyclopedia of different things that you can do to get to the now, because everybody's different. What works for me, what worked for you, what works for you, what worked for me. And then it's just connecting to it. I love to use gratitude. Reason being, it's been scientifically demonstrated to be really effective at allowing me to connect to an outcome. Neural pathways in the brain change, my emotional state changes, my thought processes change by being grateful for something that hasn't happened yet. So that's the model you follow. And to your point about how do I know if I'm on the path? Really simple. The environment doesn't lie. Our world, our environment doesn't lie about where we are. So when we just look at what's going on around us, again, thinking and feeling with awareness, we'll know exactly where we are.
That's true. So you should notice a change in your environment, like the people around you and the situations, the opportunities that show up.
How you respond to stuff, what's going on inside. And do you know what's really powerful? And I think that people sometimes lose sight of. And I speak about this a bit in the art. I was in Forbes magazine a couple of weeks ago, and I speak about it a little bit there, and actually did a presentation to an online virtual summit this morning. It's that the smallest changes we often overlook, or the things that have changed, but we keep up with the change. We don't celebrate ourselves for that, or we don't take time out to look to see if anything's changed. We get caught up. That's why I love your podcast, Beyond the Hustle. Stopping for a second to say, hang on a minute, what's been happening? Has there been any change? We can't track something that we're not looking out for, right?
Absolutely.
So taking time out and celebrating even the smallest wins, even if it's I got up 5 minutes earlier, I made $1 more. I got one more inquiry. Maybe it's not a client, but it's inquiring into my business. I got one more person taking my lead magnet. It doesn't matter. Every small win supports the new momentum to success.
Yes. People tend to overlook those little things because they're looking for the big thing. They're looking for, well, where's my $1 million that I was supposed to make? You know? And hey, you made an extra $1 today.
Yeah, that's it. And that builds momentum. And, sometimes people look down or they belittle these things, but those small steps are what make the difference. That's where the change happens. That's where the shifts happen. And it's a matter of committing to looking for and celebrating those on a consistent basis. That's when the change is going to come. Every time that we turn our back on a small win, we turn our back on the potential for a big win, because the mightiest oak starts as an acorn. And as cheesy as that sounds, it's freaking true. Every dollar started as a cent. And every $1 million is made up of singular dollars.
There are a lot of people who even, and I include myself, sometimes it happens to me. Like I've been to a lot of seminars, particularly Tony Robbins. I love his seminars. I love his work and everything. But yeah, of course. Sometimes it happens that you don't believe enough that it's going to happen to you, or that it's going to work for you, or you see other people around you and they're having these major breakthroughs and you're like, where's my breakthrough? Am I? Comparanoia. Yeah, there you go. Of course, absolutely. So, what is your advice for people who have trouble believing in themselves, or who have trouble, believing that they can actually achieve the goals that they have?
It means you're too far outside of your comfort zone. Just take a step back. One of my favorite Danisms is push your edge and not your buttons.
Push your what?
Edge. But not your buttons. So we push our buttons, we stress ourselves out, we freak out, we've come out of a conducive space to create, we've got the paranoia, the anxiety kicks in, oh my God, what am I going to do? How am I going to make this $1 million and blah, blah, blah. Stop, come back and find out where your edge is, where that level of discomfort is, and just push it a little bit. Because if we push the edge a little bit each day, we're going to get a lot further than here in anxiety and panic mode, stretching it loads and then collapsing back overnight. And this is where my micro shifting principle comes in again, because we don't try and take out the whole elephant. We just ask, okay, what am I able to do today? What do I know I can do without resistance? Where's the edge of resistance? And that might not be a massive step. I had this one guy that I worked with, and he was surprised. I told him, okay, your homework for this week is to take a journal out every day and put it by your bed. That's all I told him to do. And then he said, actually, because the journal was there, I got to using it. Okay, you've gone over and above. All you're going to do this week is write one word about how you feel that day. That's it. Oh, I know I only had to write one word, but, I ended up writing a lot more. Okay, now we're going to do our strategy. I know I only had to do this. So we basically set a minimum deliverable for ourselves, a thing that we know we can do without resistance. Maybe this time I'm not going to have a breakthrough, but I can at least show up fully and do all the exercises. Maybe I'm going to do all of the exercises on day 1 and 2. I'm going to try for day 3, but I know I can do days 1 and 2. Maybe I can do 2/3 of day 2. So I'm going to push myself that a little bit just to finish up day 2. Maybe instead of waking up at 6 a.m. when I've been waking up at 9, I'm going to wake up at 8:50. And the next week I'm going to wake up at 8:40. Like right now, I've been getting back into fitness, and week 1, I just did 5 push-ups every day. What's 5 push-ups going to do? What 5 push-ups is going to do is going to set the mental commitment. I'm now up to 45 push-ups every day. Cool. I don't have a big story in myself about what I'm going to do. No, in the morning when I've done my practice and I'm finished my journaling, I drop down to the floor and I knock out 5 good quality push-ups. 45 good quality push-ups. Nose to the floor, arms fully extended, but it started with 5. And every week I just upped it by 5. Now, does that mean that I'm letting myself off? No, I'm building a momentum. So now even when I'm like, I don't really feel like doing it, I've been doing it for so long now. I know that I'm not going to die if I do these 45 push-ups. So I just drop and do it. I take 90 seconds out of my life and I do some good quality push-ups and I get it done. That now also gives my brain a present reference of the fact that when I commit to doing something, I follow through and do it. So when it's time for me to follow through, for example, and get something done in my business, I get it done. When it's time for me to do something for my wife, I get it done because I'm establishing a pattern of behavior for myself as one who does it. But I didn't do it with big leaps. I did it by increasing by 5 a week. So ask yourself, what's your limit? And what's your micro shift, your baby step that you can do to push that limit just a little bit every day? Cut the paranoia, do you, and do it one day at a time.